let's move on with the next topic. Next topic is types of arguments. Okay, or what are the different ways of passing parameter? Arguments and parameter, you can use interchangeably that word. Only the thing is, at the time of call, what values you pass, you will call it as actual, and in the function definition what you are using, you will call it as formal. So what are the ways of passing these parameters, or what are different ways of passing these arguments? So that we are going to discuss. So Python supports 4 ways of passing argument. The first one is called as positional. Second is keyword. Third is default. Now default concept in C++ also you have studied. I'm sure in C++ you can create functions with default argument, right? Which is in PHP also. And last is variable length argument. Variable length argument is nearly in all language. Like variable length argument in C++, C you might have studied. Then in Java too. In PHP also you might have studied. So Python is also not an excuse. So all these 4 one by one we have to discuss. So these are the different ways of passing parameter. Now in that the first one we'll learn, that is positional. Okay. Now in case of positional argument, the number of actuals and the number of formals has to be same. That is the criteria. That is the count of actual and the count of formal strictly is supposed to be same. Like if you have defined a function with some number of argument, and at the time of call if you pass some more or less, it is going to generate an error. I'll show you that later. Like for example, you have defined a function with 2 arguments, but at the time of call you are passing 3 or you are passing 1 only, it is sure going to generate an error. The first criteria, that is in case of positional, the number of actual and the number of formal are supposed to be same. And next, there is a 1:1 correspondence between the formal and the actual. Getting? And that is the position. The position of your actual matters, because at the time of call a 1:1 correspondence is formed between the formal and the actual. The first formal corresponds with first actual, or other way you can say कि first actual corresponds with first formal, second with second, third with third. So as there is a 1:1 correspondence, so the position of your actual matters. Like if the order of actual change, the result may change. Getting clear? So I'll try to show you with an example. Okay. Suppose I'm defining a function called sub, to which I'm passing x and y as 2 arguments. So it's a 2 argument function or 2 parameters function, right? Sub is the name. Def, I hope you know, indicates the start to function definition. Colon, there the definition header line is over. Inside I'm writing x minus y. It is just going to subtract the 2 values and return to you. Okay. Now here when I'm calling that function sub, first criteria is at the time of call you have to pass the number of argument exactly same as the number of formal. So the number of actuals and the number of formal has to be same. Here there are 2 formal and we are having 2 actual. Like I'm writing 10, 20, 10. Okay. So 20 is going to correspond with x and 10 with y. Means when this function is called, 20 is copied in x and 10 is copied in y. 20 copied in x and 10 copied in y. And accordingly 20 minus 10, 10 answer will come. But suppose the same function I'm calling, the arguments are same, the number of arguments are same, the value of the argument is also same, only the order I am changing. That is the position I am changing. Means at position 1 I am writing 10 now, and position 2 20. The result change because the correspondence change. Now 10 is corresponded with x and 20 with y. So 10 minus 20, it will return minus 10. So that is the peculiarity of positional. So what is the speciality of positional? I hope you are clear with it. Here there are two important points you have to remember. The number of actual and the number of formal has to be same. One. And second, there is a 1:1 correspondence between the formal and the actual. Formal and actual, they establish 1:1 correspondence. So first actual correspond with first formal, second with second, and so on. So therefore the position of the parameter matters, because depending on the position the correspondence change and the result may change. Agreed? And I already told you, if you pass more argument, then also it's going to generate an error. See, it gives a type error. It is saying that this function is expecting 2 positional but 3 were given. Takes 2 positional argument but 3 were given. And suppose if you give less, so it will give a missing error, like only 10. See, so type error only, it will say missing 1 required positional argument y. Means here also you can see there is a 1:1 correspond. 10 is corresponded with x and there is no value for y, and therefore it generates an error, that is missing 1 required positional argument, that is y. Okay? So I hope the explanation is clear to you guys. We will quickly go to the slides part. We will read it. The demonstration which I gave is also clear to you, so that we can discuss the next type. So focuses mainly on the position of the parameter. That is the way in which the parameters are passed. Okay. The number of actual and the position of the argument. The number of argument and the position of argument should match. That point already I told you. So the function is defined with some number of arguments. So at the time of call you have to pass that many arguments only. 1. And the position matter, because there is a 1:1 correspondence between the formal and the actual. Okay. See, there is 1:1 correspondence between the actual parameter and the formal parameter. Example I have taken. Now on the slides I am giving very simple examples to understand the concept. But whenever practically whatever problems you'll solve, so your functions can change. You know it. They won't be so simple functions. Depending on the problem statement, accordingly the algorithms will change. So here you have defined a function sub with 2 arguments, right? And you are returning first argument minus second. So number of arguments are 2. So at the time of call you have to pass 2 actuals only. If more, then also error. If less, then also error. And at the time of call, what arguments you pass, their position matters, because there will be a 1:1 correspondence. See, now I am calling the function sub 5, 6. So 5 and 6 are the actual, but the position of 5 is first, so that will correspond with x, and 6 with y, and therefore 5 minus 6 you will get minus 1, because the correspondence is done like this. You understanding, no? 5 stored in x and 6 is stored in y. But if I call the same function with same number of arguments, same value, only the position is changed. Values are same, number is same, only position change, and because of change in position the result change. Because here 6 corresponds with x and 5 corresponds with y. Agreed? I hope you got it. Now this point also I have already told you, if number of arguments are more, less. So if you pass 1 value instead of 2, so it will give a missing one. It will give a missing error, type error, missing one positional argument y. See, I'm writing sub 5. So it will give a type error, missing one required positional argument y. And same way, if you pass more, then also it's going to give an error. It will say like expected 2 but 3 were given, or expected 2 but 4 were given, whatever. See, I'm writing sub 5, 6, 7. Now it is saying that it is expecting 2 positional only, but you have given 3. So you can say that at some level Python is abstract. Python is robust, not that loosely typed like PHP. PHP is too much loosely typed language. Means in PHP it will simply ignore it. Like if you give extra value, no, it ignores. If you give less value, it takes by default null. So that much loosely typed Python is not. Python at some level it is having strict checking, like here you can see. Okay. So the first concept I hope is clear to you, positional argument, right? So that we can move on to the second one, that is keyword argument. Okay. So just quick confirmation you can give.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Others also keep answering, otherwise it will happen like girls' responsibility Anjali has taken and boys' responsibility Gautam has taken. So only those two respond. It's not like that. Today there is a lot of network issue, I guess. Many are getting connected, disconnected. Anyways, this side Aditya and both the Aditya, they both are saying yes. Okay, no issues. So let's proceed with the second one, that is keyword argument. Okay, very important concept. Remember, the functions discussion is too important, because in the future when we'll go to OOP and all, there too we will need functions. And once you start knowing functions, so after that whatever concept you'll learn, try to use functions only in that for answering. Don't write your simple structured script. Use procedure oriented things and try to solve your programs. Okay. Now coming to the next one, that is keyword argument. Now the speciality of keyword argument is it doesn't matter in what order you pass the value. Getting? Here the count has to be same. The position, the actuals and the formal. Count is compulsory, same like positional. The count is necessary to be same. Only the order doesn't matter. Means it says that the order of actuals doesn't matter. Getting? Because here 1:1 correspondence doesn't happen. Because at the time of call, you're not only giving actual, you're associating with that actual its formal name also. You understanding? Clear? See, if you have defined a function with two arguments, and these are the two formals, x and y. So at the time of call, you are not only going to give actual, you are going to associate that actual with its formal name also. Like x equal to 5. Means at the time of call, this actual value you will write, but you have to associate with the equal sign and the name of that formal also. Getting? And as at the time of call, you are associating the actual with that formal name, the position is immaterial. In any order you can pass. Like here, see, in this case 5 is associated with x, 6 is associated with y. So inside the code it will use for x 5, y 6. Now if I call the same function writing first y equal to 6 and then writing x is equal to 5. Okay? Still the answer is going to be same. Can you see? The order is changed, right? But doesn't matter, because when the order is changed, then also you have associated it with the formal. You have mentioned that it is the formal for whom. It is the formal for whom. Like 5 is formal for X, 6 is formal for Y. So order doesn't matter. Correct? So in this case also for Y 6 will be used and for X 5. Though the order is different, the answer for both call will be same. Clear? I hope you are understanding the concept of keyword. So the speciality of keyword is only it's defining the function same like positional. Okay, there's no change in the definition. You have to write it as it is. Only at the time of call, when you're calling that function, so you are not only mentioning the actual value. Okay, you're also associating it with its formal by using name of the formal equal to actual. Name of the formal equal to actual. See, now you'll get 5 minus 6. And suppose I would have written y equal to 6 and x equal to 5. The order is changed. Still the result will be same. Getting? That is the speciality over here. Okay? See. So in this case, we pass the values of the parameter using the parameter name. Means at the time of call, you're not only writing the actual, you're also telling that actual is for which parameter. Getting? Now some may ask, can we do the combination of positional and keyword both? You can. Clear? It is 100% valid. Right? Suppose I'm defining a function like this. Def, suppose foo with A, B, C, D, 4 parameters. And it is just going to return the addition of all. Right? So now you can pass some positional and some keyword. But only the thing is, once you complete with positional, then after that all, sorry, the other way I have to say, sorry. Once you start with keyword, then all are supposed to be keyword only. Getting bad English this way. Okay, once you start with keyword, all are supposed to be keyword. After that, you cannot give positional. Getting? So once you complete with keyword and now you're going to, complete with positional and now you're going to start with keyword. So after keyword start, all are mandatory to be keyword only. Like in this case, I'm calling function foo. First two I'm passing positional. And now I'm writing C equal to 5 and D equal to 6 will do. The first two are not associated with the formal name. Only the values I have written. So obviously they will be considered as positional. So 10 is corresponded with A, 20 with B. And here you are writing value along with the parameter name. Okay? So it will give you this result. Now the same thing, if I write D first and C later, doesn't matter. The answer will be same. Because once you start with keyword, then the remaining parameters can have any order. Getting? In this only, if I write here B equal to 20, will also do. So 10 is considered as positional, correspond to A, and remaining 3 are keyword. Getting? Now, once I start with keyword, I told, no, all are supposed to be keyword only. So their order doesn't matter. Like last, if I write B equal to 20, then also the answer will be same. And you can check, see, if you are writing A, I'll take this one. Okay, B, then C I am taking, and D I am passing as positional. It will give an error. It will say positional cannot follow the keyword. Getting? See, it will say positional argument follows keyword argument. So who is coming after who? Positional is coming after keyword. So it is saying actually, okay, once you start with the keyword, all are supposed to be keyword. So after keyword, positional argument cannot come. But in your call, it is coming. The positional argument is following the keyword argument, which the language doesn't allow. ठीक है. तो this point also I hope you might have understood clearly. See, so in this case, in case of keyword argument, there is no 1:1 correspondence between the actual and the formal. Actual, formal. No 1:1 Why? Because the peculiarity is that at the time of call, you're not only giving the value of the parameter, you're also associating it with the parameter name. So as the parameter name is also mentioned, do you know that that value will be taken for that parameter only, and therefore order doesn't matter. Position of the parameter is not important. That is, you can pass parameter in any order. Example I'll take. See, def, wish, name, comma, message. Inside it is just displaying hello, that name and that message. Suppose while calling I have passed name as Ram and message as good morning. So it will display hello Ram, good morning. Agreed? See now, when I'm calling, I'm not only mentioning the values of the parameter, but I'm associating them with their formal name. So Ram is associated with name, good morning with message. It will display the output, hello Ram, good morning. If I call the same function where MSG is first and name is later, the values are same, but the order is changed, then also the output is same. Okay? See, and this point I already explained you by taking an example. See, Python supports both positional and keyword together. Means you can pass some positional, some keyword. Only the care is to be taken once you start with keyword, then after that positional cannot come. Then all strictly keyword. Why? Because positional have the importance to the position 1:1 correspond, and whereas keyword any order, no? So it cannot do the association if after keyword again positional come. Okay, so positional supports Python supports both positional and keyword. Only the care is to be taken that keyword you cannot have positional after keyword. Make sure you always write the keyword argument after position. Getting? Just to support this point, this second point here, this point, note point which I have given, just to support it, I am taking one example. See, I have written one function f with 4 argument, and I am just going to return the addition of it. Getting? And now I am giving some few calls, different combination call, and ultimately I want to say that all these calls are same. They all are going to generate same result. Getting? See here, first. Now first two values are only values. So there is a 1:1 correspondence position. 3 with A and 4 with B. And this here you have mentioned that this is the value for which parameter. So 2 positional, 2 keyword. Second, what I am doing, first 2 positional are same. Keywords are same, but the order is changed. Then also no problem. Here see, only 1 positional and remaining 3 are keyword. Get it? So first is positional, remaining 3 keyword. Now remaining 3 keyword, any order. Get it? And ultimately what I want to say, all these calls will give you the same result. Are they all going to give you 20 result only? Yes. See, all calls give same result, 20. Now if I write this way, first positional, then 2 keywords and again positional, it will give a error. It will say that ki positional follows keyword, whereas positional cannot follow keyword. Syntax error, positional argument follows keyword argument. Okay? So hope this is also clear to you guys. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Sure, no? The second technique also.
Yes, sir.
Because these all techniques are commonly asked in your interviews. This parameters technique, all these are clear to you or no? Okay? So please make that concepts clear. Then even scope rules and all, that too is an important part. Now coming to the third concept, that is third parameter technique called default. Okay, now you can say like this is an enhanced extension to keyword technique only. They are saying you can define a function And while defining the function, to the parameters you can assign and keep some default value. Getting? When you are defining a function, okay, so to the parameters you can assign and keep some default value. Getting? Some value I've assigned and kept. Okay? To the parameters I've assigned and kept some value. After that, the function definition is there. Now at the time of call, if any parameter is missing, it will take this default value. This concept I'm sure in C++, in PHP you have learned. Not PHP, if you have learned, at least C++. C++ is a common language in nearly every academics, right? Any, you do BCA, BCS, anything, everywhere C++, sure you have studied. So C++ also supports such concept. So what I want to say is, when you call the function and at that time, if there is any parameter missing, then it will use this default value. Getting? So as I said, Python allows you to define a function in which to the parameters you can assign and keep some default value. And this default value is used at the time of call in absence of explicit value. Hear carefully what I am saying. At the time of call, in the absence of explicit value, it will take this default value. Like I'm calling this function f and I'm passing 30. Right? So I'm passing only one argument, that 30 will correspond to x. Now second I didn't pass. So for y it will take its default. Okay? Suppose both I'm writing. Okay, sorry, both I'm not passing. F round bracket. Nothing I have passed. So as both are not passed, it will take both default. Agreed? Okay? And if you have given explicit value, so I told you, it will use your value in place of that default. So now explicitly the value is passed. So it will not use this default value, it will use this explicit. But once you give this, it is not permanent replaced. It is only for that call, remember. For the next call, it will take again the default. You understanding? For the next call, it will again take which value? The default value. Right? Okay. So hope it is clear to you. Now in this case also the criteria is, once you give the default value to the parameter, then after that you cannot have a non-default. Once you start giving default, then all the remaining parameters you have to give default to all of them. Getting? Like you have defined a function with a parameter a, b. Now c you have given some default, and then you're defining d. Now you're passing d to the function definition. So this is not allowed. It will give an error. It will say that this is not according to the syntax. Because once the parameter, this is not call, this is definition. See, here I have written def. So to the parameter we have assigned a default value. So once you start giving default to the parameter, after that all remaining should have default. You understanding? Clear? So after this, all the parameters are compulsory, supposed to have default. So mixture is there, some positional and some default allowed. Okay? So it is clear to you. Now some may say like, okay, if my two parameters are there and both are having default, okay, and I want to give the second but not the first one, like 5, and here if I write 6, okay, def, this way. Now when you're calling, so as I said, when you don't pass explicit value, it will use the default one. Okay, so I want like that, I'll pass explicit value for B but not for A. Getting? So you cannot put just simply comma and then you'll write 7. So 7 will be replaced in default, and here you haven't passed, so it will use this default value. So not, it will give a syntax error. Such thing is not there. But still you want that it should take A as default and B you are explicit. So in this there is no option. You have to pass it with a keyword. So you have to write it as a keyword. B equal to and the value. So now that B you have passed as a keyword, you gave an explicit. And now who is missing A, so it will take the default value. Is it right? So I hope you got it. In which case you have to compulsory pass it as a keyword only. When we are supposed to pass it as a keyword parameter only. When you want some intermediate one as a default. Getting on? Like beginning one I want as a default and the later one I have to pass explicit. Then there is no option, you have to give it as keyword parameter only. Getting? This thing is wrong. Huh? Writing comma and then 7. Assuming that 7 will go in B and here just I have left it comma, so it will take A as default. So no. In this context you have to pass in this way only. Getting? So hope that part is clear to you. So default, as I said, the default values are assigned to the positional argument used in absence of explicit value at the time of call. So when you're calling the function and at the time of call, if you don't give any explicit value, then it will take by default the default value which you have assigned to your arguments in the function definition. So inside your function definition to the parameters you have assigned some default value. At the time of call you are not giving any explicit value, so it will use that default. And if you have given explicit value, so your value is replaced in place of default. Okay, as an example I am taking, see, def wish, this is the parameter and to that I have given some default value. So at the time of call, if I don't give this parameter, it will take the default name Ram. And if you have given, so your value will be used in place of that default. Okay, see, wish Sita. So we have given explicit value. Yes or no? Explicit value is given. So is Sita put in place of Ram and it will display hello Sita, good morning. But in the second case, you are not passing only any value. So as you are not passing, it will take this default. What is the default value for name? Ram. So hello Ram, good morning. Getting? Okay. This part I hope is clear. Till here it is clear to you. Next thing is about combinations. I told you. Like if you have given only few parameters default. So is it allowed? Allowed, but what is the criteria? Can anyone tell me? Like A, B, C, D. These are the parameters, but these are formal parameters. So in that, suppose I want to give to few parameters only default. Getting? So this way is it allowed?
No, it will give error.
Means it says that once you start giving default to the parameter, then all the remaining parameters should have a default value. Correct? Once you start giving default, then everyone will have a default value. Few default and again the positional parameter come is not allowed. Okay? I'll give you that demonstration too. Don't worry. Okay, note, syntactically default arguments follow non-default. Correct? So once you start giving default and after that again non-default come is not allowed. Okay? See, if I'm writing def foo a comma b equal to 5, c equal to 6 and then d I'm writing. Correct? And some activity I'm doing, return a plus b plus c plus d. Getting? This function definition only won't complete. It gives a syntax error. It says that non-default follows default. D is non-default, and it is following whom? The default. These are the default. So after default again what is coming? Non-default. So Python parser generates a syntax error. Getting? It won't proceed to execution also because syntax error only is coming. Okay? See. So this part is clear to you. Right? Default argument follow non-default. Here I have given an example. Once I start giving the parameter default, after that all should have default. Right? So whenever you are calling, now both the values are given. Ram will be used in place of that name positional and good day in place of good morning. So hello Ram, good day. But in the second case, you have just given the positional value. The second you haven't given. The second value will be taken the default value. Okay? So hope that is clear to you guys. Just one simple example. You people get lot disconnected. See, one quick function will write def my print, suppose, to which I am just going to pass one character. The default I have kept star, and the number of times to repeat it, the default I have kept 25, and the task of this is to print that character, okay, that much number of times. So I hope you can do it like this. Python allows you to do this. You can repeat a string n number of time, isn't it? Ch into n. So one string you can multiply with the number. So it will repeat that string n time. Chapter 1, I hope you know it. So will it repeat this star 25 times? Yes. But when you don't pass explicit value. Okay? See now, I'm calling my print, and here I am giving explicit value. See, I'm giving equal and 10. So as both the values are explicitly provided, both the values are explicitly given. So in presence of explicit, it will be replaced in place of default. Okay, so will it display equal 10 times? Now I'm calling this my print by passing ampersand but not giving the number. So ampersand will be used in place of ch and number is not given. So will it use 25 as a default? Yes. And suppose I'm calling it with both the arguments not passed. So when both are not passed, will it use both default? So star 25 times. Okay? And suppose I want like that. I want n explicit and ch default. So you cannot write like this, comma and 12. It will generate an error. Clear? But in such case, there is no option then passing it as keyword. See, n equal to 25. So now when I am writing print n equal to, means I have to pass this as a keyword parameter only. So now it works. So to whom it is taking default? Ch, that is star. And n we have given, that is 12. So star is printed 12 times. Okay? Is it clear to you? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sure? Okay. Too much network issue. Many are connected, getting disconnected. What's the problem? Okay, Rohini, you can keep your mic mute also. Don't know whether she's hearing or not. Moving to the next thing, that is the fourth technique. Okay? Now this is little important to understand. Understand it very well. Now I hope the past three are clear to you. Coming to the fourth one, that is variable length arguments. Okay? Now variable length means it is saying that you can define a function which can take any number of arguments at the time of call. You understanding? Clear? Means Python allows you to define a function which can receive any number of arguments at the time of call. So how many arguments you are going to pass at the time of call is not fixed. It is your choice. Getting? But then again here internally how data structures are used and how Python takes the benefit of its own iterable objects. I'll tell you all that one by one. But the technique first you understand. The technique means function which can receive any number of argument. How many arguments are to be passed to the function is not fixed. Like in these examples which we saw, they saw the previous one. So we know, see here like we have defined this foo with it. So we know that it is a function with 4 arguments. So at the time of call fix you have to pass 4, not less, not more. Now this is also with 2 arguments. Getting? So it is going to receive 2. But lesser also, why? Because you have given default value. But more you cannot give. Getting? Less if you give, so it will take a default. But you cannot call it as a variable length. Why? Because it is sure going to take 2 arguments. Okay? But I am talking about such concept where you can define a function whose number of arguments are not fixed. Can you tell me one example which you have studied and which is taking variable length argument? Means whose number of arguments are not fixed. No?
So you mean function? Any function?
Any function. Which you have studied till now. From chapter 1 till at this point.
So I think print.
Yes, very good. Print. Same like in C we have scanf, printf. In C, I'm sure C everyone has studied. So in C we have printf and scanf function. Printf, scanf are the best example of variable length. Tell me, to printf and to scanf, how many arguments you can pass? Is it fixed? No, no, you can pass any number of argument. Right or no? To printf of C or scanf of C, you can pass any number of arguments. So that is the best example of variable length. The same way in Python, the best one which you have studied till now is print. Because to print you have passed any argument. Is the number of argument fixed to print? No. So similar, you also can write your functions which are going to receive how many argument? Any number of argument. Getting? But now in that case, how to indicate that this function is going to receive variable number of argument. So I'll tell you that. Okay? Whenever you will define that function, okay, so whatever that formal argument is, formal parameter, before that you have to put a asterisk, that is star. Getting? So suppose I am writing parameter as args, arguments. You can give any name to it, but before that you have to put a star sign. So if you put a star before it, so to the Python interpreter it is informed that this argument is going to receive many values at the time of call. Getting? Okay. Now at the time of call you pass any amount of value, doesn't matter. You pass 1, you pass 2, you pass 100, any argument, not necessarily all of the same type only, you can pass any. But as many values you are passing, implicitly what it does is, it does the packing mechanism, packs. It puts all of them into one tuple, which in same case in Java, it converts it into an array. Like in Java, if you have studied variable length argument, so in Java, how to indicate it's a variable length argument, whatever data type, and you might have put 3 dot, is it or no? 1, 2, 3, and then the argument name. So Java automatically understands that this is a variable length. It is going to receive many value. But internally Java converts this into an array only. So for Java, this A is going to be a array. Exact same. But here what it does, a tuple. So all these values at the time of call, you pass any value, doesn't matter, 5 value, 10 value, 100 value. At the time of call, all these values are packed into one tuple. And then that single tuple is passed as a parameter. Getting? So this args will receive this whole tuple. And now args, when receive a tuple, this args is going to be an iterable object. So can you use it in a for loop and retrieve one by one values which have come? What do you say?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. So now as it's a tuple, it's a iterable object. So you can use a for loop and retrieve each values from it. Getting? And then after retrieving, what work you want to do is your choice. Okay. Now you can pass this variable argument as a keyword also. Variable argument, but to every argument you can associate some name. Getting? Your choice name, what you want. That is also possible. But then all such keyword arguments and variable means they are not fixed. They can be any number and they are variable argument and they are keyword. So in that case, what happens is Python internally packs them into a dictionary. You understanding? All that are packed into a dictionary. Now you'll say, what is peculiarity of dictionary? So dictionary is a collection of key comma value pair. Speciality of dictionary is it is collection of key value pair. So every value is identified by a key. That is a speciality of a dictionary. Means in dictionary, every value is going to have a corresponding key. It's a mapping of key to value. Some languages call dictionary as a map also. Getting? So key to value, key value. Keys are unique, keys are distinct, values can be repeated. So here when I write all these variable argument, and to that I associate with some name also as a keyword if I pass. So they all are packed into a dictionary. Then the dictionary come here and then you can traverse that dictionary. But to the Python interpreter, there has to be some recognition that it is going to receive it as a tuple or a dictionary. So here you have to put double star. When you put double star before the argument, it is informed to the interpreter that all the arguments are going to come as a dictionary, key value pair. And if you put, so all values are going to come as a tuple. You understanding? Clear? So both technique I'll tell you. First we'll take the demonstration so that you'll get a feel of how that parameters are passed, and then we will go to the slides part. Okay? See here. I'm defining one function foo and I'm writing star s. So when the parameter which is passed is preceded with a star, it informs to the Python interpreter that this argument is to be received as a variable. Meaning in this S, all the arguments have come as a tuple. And if it's a tuple, you can traverse it in a for loop because tuple is an iterable object. Can I traverse like this? For x in S. And then I'm printing that x. Okay? See now, I'm calling that function foo. Now I'm passing 10, 20, 30. Will it pack all this 10, 20, 30 in one tuple? 10, 20, 30 is packing, unpacking mechanism happens here. Okay. So all this 10, 20, 30 are packed into one tuple. That tuple is received here. And then you are traversing the tuple and printing the value. See, is it printing 10, 20, 30? Same foo I am calling with different values like in between Ram, Sita, 4.5, 100, doesn't matter. Again, now see, previously 3, now I have passed 7. All these 7 values are packed into a tuple, and then that tuple is coming in S, and then you are traversing that S. See. Is it clear to you? Now first, positional variable length. Means these are variable length, but positional means we are not associating any name with them. You understanding? Only values are there, right? Now some may ask like, can we create variable length and positional also? Is it possible? Clear? Means see, I'm defining a function in which one value n and one star s I'm writing. You understanding? One is a positional argument and one is a variable length argument. Can we do like this or no? So it is 100% valid. Suppose I'll print this n. Okay, print n and then a for loop. Okay, see now I'm calling it this one. Now what will happen? N is a positional parameter. So first value will be corresponded with n. 10 corresponds with n. And all remaining are packed into a tuple which will come in S. See. Right? 10 is passed to n. You print that n. 10 is printed. And all the remaining values are passed as a tuple, okay, to this S. You got it? Each and everything I am showing as a demonstration. Please make these things clear. Okay, so I hope this is clear to you. But someone may say that while defining, I am passing one variable length and one positional, but first variable length and then positional. So will it do or no? So it will do, no doubt. But at the time of call, how it will lead to confusion, and then how to overcome that, both I'll tell you. Okay? See here. Now I'm calling this function. Right? So many may think that it will take all these values except last as a tuple. Means it will pack all these values into a tuple. That tuple will come here and 100 will come in n. But it doesn't happen. What happens in this context? Once the first argument is a variable length, it treats all as variable. Okay? All as variable. And it will say there is no value for positional argument n. Means that missing error will come, which I showed you today, that missing concept. So here it will give you an error. Keep missing positional argument n. See. Right? Now foo missing one required keyword only argument n. Now with this error, I hope you got an hint. In such case, strictly that n is to be passed as a keyword. You understanding? To overcome that, if you don't want this error to come, so you have to pass it as a keyword only, like this, n equal to 100. Right? So now except last, all these are packed into a tuple, and as you have mentioned the parameter name for 100, so that will sure go in n only. So now you won't face this error. See, n equal to 100 you have mentioned. So 100 will come to this keyword parameter and it will print it first only, and all these values have been packed into a tuple that will come here. Getting? Till here, if it is clear, means in this, if you have any confusion or query, you can ask queries also. Many don't ask, I don't know why. Or the problem doesn't arise only in your mind. Yes, guys. Till here, if it is clear.
Just to confirm, so in variable length argument, there is no any sequence of previous parenthesis, right?
No, means this values which you have passed.
You can put any that means positional keyword at any place.
This
Just
one,
you have to mention it. Yes.
this one, but then this one you have to write at the last only, no? Because
Okay.
these all are going to get packed into one variable length. No? These all are going to get packed into one variable length, which will come in this tuple. So the remaining last only you have to pass as a keyword. Means this n which I am writing, n equal to 100, right? So that if you pass it first, it won't work. Get it? See, like this. N equal to 100 if you write. Getting? It will give still an error. Why? Because you know it. Once you start with a keyword, all are supposed to be keyword. Later you cannot give positional. And this is then one is a variable length and one is a keyword. So you know all first are going to get packed into a tuple, and then the last one which you have explicitly mentioned it with the name, that will come in that positional. Clear?
Yes, sir.
No doubt in this part. ठीक है. Others also no queries. Now we'll come to the keyword technique also. Variable keyword means while calling the function, you are passing variable number of argument, any number of argument, but with every value you are associating some name also. Getting? But these are variable, these are not fixed. So in this case what I said, when you pack it, they all are getting put into which data structure? Yes, guys.
Tuple.
Tuple? No, tuple is in this context, no? In this context.
Dictionary.
Dictionary. That's what. Clear? So all these values here, they are getting packed into a tuple, and the tuple is passed. But in such context, where you're passing variable number of argument, any number of argument, but with every argument you are associating some name. Getting? So in this case also they are all packed and they come as an argument here. Okay, here, right? But that will come as a dictionary. So in that case you have to put it with a 2 star, double star you have to give. Getting? So I'll define one function of that type also. See, foo double star s. When double star is coming before the parameter name, okay, before the parameter name, when double star come, then it indicates that at the time of call, variable arguments are there, no doubt. But those all variable arguments are having some name also associated with them. And therefore, they all are packed in a dictionary form. Getting? But now on the dictionary, if you apply simple for loop, like this, for x in s, and you try to print that x. So what happens is, it doesn't actually print the value. It will only print the key part. Getting? Keys of all. If I want the values also of all, right, then you have to write like this, s of x, like this. S is a dictionary and square bracket key, so it will give the value of it. You understanding? See, if you want, I'll print and show you. Okay? Now I'll call the function foo. I'm writing something, name, Ram, wife, Sita, brother, Lakshman, age 45. Okay, that's all. Enter. Now what will happen? All these are going to get packed into a dictionary. This become key value, key value, key. All are packed into dictionary. Then the dictionary will come here. Then you are retrieving one by one from the dictionary. Getting? But see, does it only print the key part? So when on a dictionary you just apply the simple for loop, it will just fetch the keys, not the value. Okay. Now suppose you want value also, right? So you can write like this. One way, there is another way also, that too I'll tell you. And all these things again in 4th chapter we are going to learn, don't worry. Because 4th chapter I said especially devoted for data structures. So in that dictionary we will be learning in detail. Okay. So now here just a short introduction you are getting. So I'll write X and S of X. See here? And now I'm calling this. Any number of arguments you pass, doesn't matter. Suppose after this I'm writing has children. Has son I'm writing. Okay? True. Right? Has daughter. False. So any argument you can pass. All are now going to get packed into a dictionary and that will come here. And see, is it printing the key also, value also? Key value, key value, key value, key value. Getting? So this is also one way of doing it. Other way is also there by using one method of the dictionary class called d.items. Okay? So actually items is a method of dictionary class. Carefully, here carefully. Yeah? Items is a method of dictionary class and it will return you the pairs of key value as a tuple. Means in place of this s dot key, it will return you one iterable in which there will be tuples. Okay? And in every tuple there will be a key and a value, key and a value. Getting? And now this list in which there are tuples and every tuple contains key value, that is used here in the for loop. So the standard rule of for loop is okay, it will fetch one by one value from that iterable. So when it fetches, each value is a tuple. So that tuple again you can unpack in your temporary variables. Get it? So how you will unpack? Here you will write that many variable x comma y suppose. Get it? So now here if I write x comma y, so what will happen? S dot items is first of all going to return you what? One iterable in which there will be tuples and every tuple will represent a key value, and then that list of tuples when you are using here in the for loop, so it will fetch after every iteration one tuple, and that one tuple you are unpacking in these two variables. So in that one tuple, key will go in x and value will go in y. Getting? See, now I am calling this function foo. You can pass any number of arguments. Suppose one more I am passing as salary. Okay? Enter. Is it printing the key value, key value, key value? Now I didn't wrote this way, s of x. Instead I wrote s dot items, which returns a list of tuples. Actually it is not a list. It is one more iterable object of type dict items. So I'll come to that later. You can visualize it like a list in which there are tuples and every tuple contains two value, key value, key value. Now in the for loop when I use that list, will it fetch one by one tuple? And that one tuple contains two value. That tuple is getting unpacked in this two temporary variable and that you are printing. Agreed? Sure? I hope you are understanding it. Yes or no? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Many, today lot of network issue is there. Many are getting connected, disconnected. What the thing is? Okay. So now the basic explanation is done. Examples you got it. Now we will try to understand all this through the slides part. So we'll quickly move on to the slides part. So variable length, first of all, the concept is defining a function to which you can pass any number of argument at the time of call. So variable length argument means passing any number of argument to the function. When you're calling, the how many arguments you're going to pass is not fixed. Okay? Then there are two types of variable length argument which we have discussed now. Putting 1 star and putting 2 star. So to that parameter, if I put 1 star, so all the parameters which you are going to pass at the time of call, they are considered as positionals and they all are packed into one tuple, and that one tuple is received. And suppose at the time of call, whatever values you are passing, to every value you are associating some name also. Name equal to value, name equal to value. Then in that case, they all are packed into one dictionary, and then that dictionary is passed. Okay? So see, if to your parameter you are preceding it only star, so used when we pass variable length positional argument. In which form? Tuple form. And if you put 2 star, I want to tell that keyword arguments. Means they are variable length argument but keyword. Meaning at the time of call when you are passing the parameter, so to every parameter you are giving some default value. Correct? See, used when we pass variable length keyword argument in dictionary form. Examples will take, don't worry, of positional also, keyword also. And still if you have some doubt in that, you can ask me. Now the demonstration which I gave, in that I was just printing that value. Here I am taking the summation of it. Okay? See, def sum. The argument which is passed, is it preceded with star? So as it is preceded with star, it indicates that this argument is going to receive any number of argument in the form of a tuple. Okay? So at the time of call, if I pass 5 values, 10 value, 100 value, doesn't matter. They all are going to get packed in a tuple, and this tuple is passed here. Agreed? Then I've created a temporary variable s equal to 0. Then through the for loop, I'm taking the addition of it. S equal to s plus I. Now this is a tuple, you know it. So will it fetch one by one value from the tuple in I, and that you are adding in s and you are returning s. That's all. Just a summation I'm taking. See now. Print sum 10, 20, 30. So are these all three packed into a tuple? It comes here. Then it is fetching one by one value, adding in s, and then returning s. So s is 0. So 0 plus 10, 10. Then 10 plus 20, 30. 30 plus 30, 60. And then it will return that 60. Agreed? Okay. Now in this only the doubt, as I said, variable length and along with that one positional. So if you pass positional, so how the behavior is? If you write beginning, if you write later, like n comma star r's comma n. So if it is star args comma n, then that n is strictly as a keyword only. You have to pass it as a keyword. Getting? See, you can pass variable length argument along with positional. Example I have given. See, def foo n comma star args. First I am printing that n, and I am printing all the values which have come in that args. Okay, but in this case how the mapping will be? See, I am calling this foo 10, 20, a 30. So first value is sure going to come in n. First value 10 will sure come in n, and all the remaining are packed into a tuple. You understanding or no? So 10 is copied in n, and all the remaining values are packed into a tuple, and that will come here. So 10 is printed, and then from the tuple one by one values are fetched, they are printed. Right? Okay. But if suppose this variable length arg is first and then the positional is later, then that positional is strictly as a keyword only. See, if positional argument follows the variable length argument, then we have to pass that positional argument as keyword only. There is no option. Like in this case, star arg is first and n is later. Inside the code is same, but when you try to call it like this, see, foo 10 20 a 30, so you may think like that, okay, all the value except last will get packed into a tuple. That tuple will come here and 30 will come in n, but doesn't happen. As first is a variable length, it packs all of them into a tuple. So there is no value only for n, and it gives an error that no value given for keyword only argument n. See, so in such case, this n is strictly supposed to be given as keyword only, which I have given here. See, now these 3 are packed into a tuple that comes here, 10 comes in n, that 10 is printed, and this whole thing is a tuple, so that through for loop we have printed. Okay, done. Now I hope this is also clear. And last I told you, you can pass parameters as keywords also. Means at the time of call, whatever parameters you are going to pass, they are any number, variable length, but to every value you can associate some name. But in that case, how they are passed? They are packed as a tuple, sorry, as a dictionary, and then that dictionary is received. Getting? See, when variable length keyword arguments are passed, variable length meaning any number of argument, but they all are passed as a keyword. Keyword means with every value you are associating some name. Then in that case, what happens? All these key value are packed into a dictionary, and a dictionary is passed to your function. Okay? So when variable length keyword argument are passed, then the keyword and the values are treated as key value pair of dictionary. Okay, see example. Now to that parameter you have preceded double star. So it is sure function Python interpreter know that at the time of call you are going to give name value, and everyone is getting packed into a dictionary, and the dictionary is received here. Agreed? Okay? So now in the for loop, how I am doing it? While giving demonstration, I gave you different ways. Here see, I have written, as this is a dictionary object, dictionary objects items method. Items is a method of that dictionary class, and kwargs is an object of dictionary. So is it actually going to return you one list of tuples? Getting? There you will actually get a list. I'm calling it as a list. Actually it is a iterable object of class dict items. Dict items is a class, but it's also coming under iterable category only. Okay? So to visualize, I can show you like this. This is one tuple with only 2 value. Another tuple with 2 value, and this way it is a list. Ideally not list, it is a dict items set. Means actually this is an object of dict items, but dict item is also iterable. Therefore you can use it in a for loop. And now one by one this tuple is fetched, but that tuple is containing 2 values, so you have unpacked it in 2 variables. You understanding? When Python is giving that facility, see here, if you write x comma y equal to 10 20, now round bracket 10 20 is one tuple. So when you assign it to 2 variable, it gets unpacked, 10 in x and 20 in y. If you print and see xy, you'll see that 2 values are copied in the 2 variables. This is a mechanism of unpacking. When a tuple is getting unpacked into 2 variables, same thing will happen here. Getting? And now I am calling. So while calling, I am passing any number of key value pair. All are going to get packed into a dictionary, then the dictionary is received here. Then in a loop, you'll get a list of tuples. Then after every iteration, one tuple is fetched, which contains 2 value. That tuple is unpacked in these 2 variables, and that you are printing. Agreed? So hope the concept is clear to you. Isn't it, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, next concept we have to see, that is packing and unpacking. Right? Now, when the packing takes place and when unpacking, both I'll tell you. First, about packing, you have observed it just now in variable length. So, in case of variable length or variable length argument function, at the time of call, you can pass any number of arguments. So all that arguments are getting stored into one tuple, or all that argument are stored into one dictionary, and then that single tuple or a dictionary is passed. So this is the process of packing. Now when unpacking text, that too I'll tell you. Okay, first we'll talk about this. So we are defining a function. Just now we have seen this. Double star means it's going to receive variable length keyword. So that each key value pair I am printing it. Then I am calling the function. While calling, I am passing any number of key value. Okay. Similarly, I can define a function with variable length positional argument, not keyword, single star. Just fetching it and printing it. So you know this args is going to be received as a tuple. This kw args is going to be received as a dictionary. Getting? I am calling the function. While calling, I am passing some values. See, these are positional value passed. These are keywords passed. Any keyword, any positional. All these keywords are packed into a dictionary and coming here. All these positionals are packed into a tuple and coming here. So this is the concept of packing. Getting? Now unpacking comes into picture when? That too I'll tell you. Here what is happening? All these key value pairs are packed and they come into that single argument. Same way, all these positional parameters are packed and that come in that single argument. Okay? So this is pack many values into a single data type, that is tuple or a dictionary. So when you pass positional values, so it is as a tuple. When you pass key value pairs, that is, so they all are passed as a dictionary. Agreed? Now the other concept, see what I am telling, unpacking mechanism. Now when this unpacking technique comes, what Python says is, you have defined one function with some number of argument, okay? Like 4 number of, this is not variable length, this is fixed length, def foo a comma b comma c comma d, and it is going to return addition of it. That's all. Now what Python says is कि you can store 4 values in one tuple and just pass single tuple at the time of call. See, t equal to, I am storing 6, 2, 9, 5. Okay? T is equal to 6, 2, 9, 5. Agreed? Okay? And now at the time of call, you just pass that single tuple by preceding with star. At the time of call, you have to write star t. Here now what is going to happen, that all the values of your tuple will get unpacked in your 4 variables. You understanding or no? Means such technique Python has given. Python says you have defined a function with some number of argument. At the time of call, instead of passing that many arguments separately, you can store all the values in one tuple and you can pass single tuple as well. But what happens is, though you have passed a single tuple, all the values of that tuple are getting unpacked in your parameters. So first value of your tuple will come in A, second value in B, third in C, fourth in D, and then it will return the answer. Can you see it is returning 22? Getting or no? Clear? Same way you can pass it as a dictionary also. See, dictionary is created by brace bracket. Okay, so I am writing like this: C colon 2, 9, A colon 6, D colon 5, B colon 2. So I created a dictionary in which I have key value, key value. Now you can directly pass this single dictionary to your function by writing double star. Here also unpacking will take place. Clear? Means what will happen depending on the key. Okay, so if the key is A, so it will get stored in that parameter A only, that's 6. Now key is C, so the parameter C only will receive 9. Key D with value 5, so parameter D only will receive 5. And still the answer is same. Getting? But here if you have passing something which is missing, it generates an error. Like suppose I don't give for B, it will give an error. See, in that dictionary there is no value for argument B. Getting? And if you are giving more values also, it generates an error. Getting? In that dictionary there is something key called E, which is unexpected, because in your definition there is no parameter with the name E. Getting? So Python gives such facility also. Here why unpacking is happening is clear to you, because at the time of call you are passing one dictionary or one tuple, and the values of that tuple are getting copied in your arguments. The arguments are not variable length, they are fixed. But while passing, you are passing a single tuple. So that tuple is getting unpacked in your arguments. The tuple's first value come in A, second value in B, third in D, third in C, fourth in D, that way. Same way for dictionary also. Okay, hope it is clear. So quickly we'll just see this to wind up with today's session. See, I've defined a function foo with only 3 argument x, y, z. I'm just printing that all 3. Okay, so while calling, I've created first one dictionary with key value, key value, key value. Now some idea about dictionary you have got now, so that it will be helpful in the next chapter, because there dictionary as a topic separately we are going to discuss. So x is given 45, y 56, z 50, order doesn't matter. Now you are calling and you are passing the dictionary only by putting double star. So are all the values of the dictionary going to get unpacked in these 3 parameters? Yes. Same way, definition same. But at the time of call, I am creating one tuple and just single tuple only I am passing, star t. So all the values of tuple are unpacked in these 3 parameters. 45 will come in x, 56 in y, 50 in z. Clear? I hope you got it. Can you see this? This D is getting unpacked in XYZ. This T is getting unpacked in this XYZ. This mechanism is called unpacking. Unpacks a tuple or a dictionary and pass it to your positional parameter.